in the hopes that others could understand. Well, I'd say others who are attempting to download the high res version of the Neil Young Archives Volume 3 straight off the Neil Young Archives store. Um, you're not alone in having problems downloading. I have a lot of experience downloading files, downloading purchases off the internet, and this is a step beyond what I usually have to deal with. Now, full disclosure here, I have received a download code through email from the Neil Young Archive store following my purchase of the deluxe edition of the Neil Young Archives Volume 3 box set. Now, there may be some amongst you thinking, well, hey, especially those who haven't bought the deluxe edition, wait a second, you're getting CDs of all these recordings, plus you're getting Blu-rays of several films. Um, shouldn't you consider these downloads to be a bonus? I'll explain why I don't feel that way. I started buying the box sets when the first one came out, Neil Young Archives Volume 1, back in the early 2010s. I think it was 2011. And that box set was available in CD form, in a long box. I forget the official name they give it, but also in a big rectangular box. Yeah, let's call it a rectangular box. A big box, which housed 10 Blu-rays. Now, I bought that brand new, or the list price for the Blu-ray version was about 440 bucks Canadian in store. And I'm paying, or I paid roughly the same amount for the Volume 2 box set, which was the big box. Now, those of you who've seen it or who own it know what I'm talking about. But the big box with the CDs in it, for the same price. It came with a download code to download the entire box set in high-res format, given the fact that you cannot buy the Blu-ray version or a Blu-ray version of Volume 2. Much appreciated. I had a few issues downloading that from the Neil Young Archive store, but I made it through with a full copy. The Volume 3 high-res download, however, is having more issues. Now, you may be thinking, hey, quit griping and just click this button that says download all. It should be simple, right? Let me show you something here. I tried that 3 times here in my cleanup. Let's go to the third try. This is the full downloads. As you see, they're divided up by whatever artist is identified on site as the artists who have appeared on this track. I'll give you an example. I will go get one track that I do want to show you because this is a particular one. Cortez the Killer, live March 11th, 1976. Let's download the FLAC version of this, which is the versions I usually prefer downloading. Even though, full disclosure, I'm on a MacBook Pro 2012, my internet connection is super fast. This will come into play later in this video. But now, once upon a time, I think it was said that the FLAC format and the WAV format were native to PC computers, Windows computers, or computers operating the Windows operating system, and that AIFF and ALAC, or ALAC it may be called, those were native to Macs. Now, at this time, in this day and age, I think they're now interchangeable because my Power Mac handles all 4 of them, all 4 formats without a problem. So let's go and download the FLAC version of the March 11th, 1976 version to Cortez the Killer. Now you see here it says Neil Young Crazy Horse. And so go in here, it will naturally appear in the folder called Neil Young Crazy Horse. There are a lot of tracks, including Cortez the Killer, March 11th, 1976, which is here. However, look at Computer Cowboy. Now, this is the full download I did. Download all. Why is my copy of Computer Cowboy 0 bytes in length or in size? This means I can't play anything from this track, see? Whereas if I go over to Cortez the Killer, great, but here's the problem. That's the problem. We have digital artifacts in the file, which once I show this to you, you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about here. It's very visible just in the waveform alone. So now this is what I'm using. Audacity. Let me show you the icon. Let me type it correctly first. But this is an open source program. I believe it's open source, but it's free to download online. Just Google Audacity. You can download this if you feel like doing any work on these files like I've been doing. Let me float this in. And it's going to upload. It's going to take a little while. Now, you're going to see in the, why didn't that work? Let's try it once more. All right. There, that worked. It's uploading it. It's importing it into Audacity. That's what I meant to say. And as you're going to see in the waveform, there are sections where it's just white noise. See these big expanses of blue? Now, this is a normal wave file. This is a normal sound waveform. That's what I meant to say. You hear music there. I'm not going to play more than that. There are copyright issues. I don't want this video to be banned. But this now is the big blue section. White noise, period. So this is my fourth, fifth, sixth time downloading it. This was the third time I downloaded it off the website. But I downloaded it another 2 times, still the same artifacts in the same places. And then I began downloading the different formats of this track. Let's go back out of the cleanup, which is pretty huge. And as you can see, there are several files here that are at 0 bytes. Just before we change screens here, this one downloaded okay. Let's look at Neil Young and the Trans Band. 0 bytes for Love Hotel. This goes on and on and on. So that said, those 0 bytes files are the reason why I recommend that you do not click that download all button on the website. Don't click this. Instead, we got to find a way to download each file individually. I'll explain why. But in the meanwhile, I'll show you the different formats that I downloaded here just to show how problematic this particular file is. So we have the option to download FLAC, WAVE, AIFF, or ALAC. Now, ALAC appears as an M4A file, but after doing a bit of research online, I've come to understand that there are 2 different types of M4A files that you can get. One is the lossy AAC format, equivalent to iTunes. Now remember, I said lossy. And the other one is lossless ALAC. Now, since the Neil Young Archives web store does identify ALAC for this particular format to download, and knowing Neil Young's desire to provide the highest resolution audio experience possible on files, I find it safe to presume that this M4A here is lossless ALAC, as the website says. But let's load these in to Audacity. So that's just, I'm reading the files directly from the original. It'll go faster. Now let's look at the WAVE file download version of this track. And it is looking pretty good so far. Oh, what's that? Here's the big blue expanse. Meaning, yes, this is going to sound like white noise. Yep. And one other thing I didn't mention here. The Neil Young Archives web store lists this particular track as being 7 minutes 39 seconds in length. Now, this is not 7 minutes 39 seconds. The audio position is at 7 minutes 02 seconds. So not only does it have white noise in it, but it's been shortened. This one here, coming up to the end of this, it's at 7 minutes 34, 33, 34. So there's still a bit of truncation going on here. And then now let's go get another version of this. The AIFF download format. Let's see how long this one is. Okay, looking good so far. Are we gonna make it? Well, I predict not so much. I mean, yeah, we don't see any blue expanses. This is going to be beautiful Neil Young music and Crazy Horse. But we get to the end. Let me solo this so you don't hear several tracks at once. Uh-oh, that's truncated. And yes, it ends at about 7 minutes. So 7 minutes and 1 second. So it's missing 37 seconds. Now this is 3 out of 4 file download formats so far that have issues with it. Poor Cortez. Thankfully there are 2 versions of this track on the box set. But the 4th one, thankfully, opens appropriately. And now it's opening up slowly. I'm going to open it up here and then I'm going to close it for a reason I will explain before I correct anything in the original FLAC format or FLAC file. I want to keep FLAC. That's the format that I usually use, and I believe there's more metadata in that one. Okay, so let's solo this. This is the ALAC format. As you see, it's got, so we've got the whole version instead of just, let me solo, no, I can't. Let me mute the other 2 so you can see, or you can hear rather. And it's been a long day working this out, let's say. And thankfully, I've worked on other things. Okay, let's listen to both these at the same time so you can see that where you heard the volume dip is where one file stopped and the other continued on. All right, now let's remove 3 of these. I'm just doing Control-Z to go back, undo, which you do here as well, undo import. That's neither here nor there. Let me show you the metadata for the FLAC file. It has this much information in it. That said, when I replace the audio, I want that metadata to remain. Whereas in other formats, there's less information, and in the WAV format, there's no information in the metadata because WAV doesn't have a section to save metadata within its file. Okay, let's open a new screen. We still have the FLAC version there in the other screen. Let's just use this screen to drag the M4A version. Let's do it a second time. Why gray? Oh, sorry, clicked on the wrong thing here. And M4A once more. It's been a long day. And while that's opening up in, no, I can't go here and show you the file info. It's just, it's bogarting my resources. So I'm just going to have to wait, and hopefully this doesn't take too long. I can tell you what I've heard of the box set so far is absolutely great. I've listened to Across the Waters Volume 1, the first disc in the set. Really, really nice concert recording. Okay, that said, I'll show you by going info. Well, I did Command I, sorry. I'm on a Mac here. Not Control, Command I, Command Z. But if you want to see info, file, info. I thought it was here. Get info. There, that's what I'm talking about. it used to say it was 192 kilobits per second. Now it doesn't say. Oh, that's Mac for you, okay? That's all I'll say. So here we have the M4A version. That's completely all right. Looks great as a waveform. If I bring my cursor here and double click on it, I'm selecting the entire file. You just saw the background turn from gray to white. I copy this, and the reason why I'm double clicking will become apparent when I do this. I'm double clicking on this one, and then I'm going to paste. I could select all. I could do that as well. I just find that, especially when I have multiple tracks open in the same window, selecting all will select all for all the tracks. Now you see the color wheel spinning. It's doing its work. Here we go. This is where the track used to end. And now we've got it going all the way to the end. Just to prove to you that there's no disjointed audio here or anything, I'll just play a few seconds. You hear it? It's all right. And so now that we've got that, I'm going to export the audio. Now, again, this is the file for the FLAC version. I'm saving it as a FLAC, best level, 24-bit. The original was 24-bit 192. It's asking me if I want to replace the file that already exists. Yes, I do. And once again, replace yes. Now, is there an Audacity version for the PC? I can't say that off the top of my head right now. But you see, it's asking me to save all this metadata. Do I want to change it or anything? No, this is the original FLAC metadata. I want it. Can I show you the other screen at the same time? No, it's bogarting my resources once again. So I have to save this. But long story short, this is how you replace the audio in the FLAC version. It's been about, 10 minutes that I've been doing this? So how about I stop this video? Hey, don't want that. How about I stop this video and I'll start again to show you part 2 of the other issues I'm having downloading. But I've been making it work one file at a time. See you in the next video.